What's up, everybody? On this episode of Press X to Start podcast, we're going to talk about Overwatch 2's big Sojourn reveal, Epic's $2 billion metaverse funding, and Hideo Kojima's pledge to remain independent. That's coming with more on Press X to Start podcast. What's up, everybody? This is episode 14 of season 6 of Press X to Start podcast. Press X to Start podcast is a weekly gaming podcast where we talk about all the latest gaming news, review the biggest games, and give you our thoughts on the games that we are playing. Our goal is to expand the video game media landscape through an underserved point of view. I'm your host, your heavyweight champion from Wish Nigga Wood, California, aka the janitor because we watch niggas, aka the Pillsbury Coke Boy, Marcus Ellison.
I'm Avery, currently dealing with the fact that there will be no EU teams in the top 4 of Valorant Masters Reykjavik, and I can just taste the tears of the EMEA region.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but
it's a little bit of column A, a little column B, because while I like to meme on the European Union and Middle East and Africa for their teams in their Valorant, I am a big fan of Fnatic and Team Liquid, and losing to both of them is just devastating. I want everyone to know that one of the reasons I'm bringing up Valorant talk is, if you haven't known, it's just a 2-person episode.
Exactly. So, it's a nice little fireside chat between
a little two-hander.
Exactly, between the OGs, 2 of the OGs of the podcast. So, it's nice to get back to our roots, if you will.
The last time we did this, I was talking about Bloodborne. So it's fitting that I'm going to be back, and the only game we're going to be talking about is Elden Ring.
Is Elden Ring, yeah. The From Software will continues. But yeah, before we go any further, I guess I have to do this frickin' subscriber plug, don't I? Hey, you there, watching us on good old YouTube. Before we go into our quick hits, if you're watching us and you've been enjoying our videos, enjoying the podcast overall, I feel like you should, make this thing official. Hit that subscribe button and then hit that like button and share it with as many people as you possibly can, because, we're a group of Black people trying to make some money off of this goddamn video game industry. So if you could help us do that by spreading around this podcast, then that would be great. So thanks. Appreciate that. And now we're going to go into the quick hits. What you got to say, Avery?
Okay, so the light week. So before we jump into the quick hits, I'm going to give Marcus the floor to talk about Kingdom Hearts 4.
Oh, thank you so much. So last week I was not here for this, and I was editing the podcast stewing because I just wanted to give my thoughts and I wasn't able to. So I'll just keep it quick. I am on record saying that the time between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3 pretty much soured my feelings on Kingdom Hearts as a whole, just because of all of the added content that came in and the convolution of the story as a whole. But I will say that the announcement of Kingdom Hearts 4 was completely surprising, because just given the amount of time that it took to get from 2 to 3, I was expecting, if we were going to get a 4 at all, it wouldn't be for maybe, I don't know, 7 to 10 years. So the fact that the turnaround time was this quick was impressive. And I will say, the graphical upgrade was also very interesting, because I knew that they had kind of gotten into more of a, I guess, lifelike Tokyo type of environment with what's the name of this place again? What's the name of the world?
It's confusing, and I don't want to bring up reasons why you hate Kingdom Hearts to explain what's going on in Kingdom Hearts 4, but it is the game. It has a weird name that they've officially called it, but the world is based on Verum Rex, which was the video game in the Toy Story level of Kingdom Hearts 3, which is based on Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Exactly. And that's like one of the funniest things about the continuation of Kingdom Hearts by this point is Tetsuya is not even trying to hide anymore, that he just wants really badly to make Versus 13. And
hey, Final Fantasy 7 Remake gave that man carte blanche to do whatever the fuck he wants right now at Square.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. But it's been interesting to see kind of them kind of going with a more grounded, lifelike Final Fantasy style color palette and graphical presentation for this time. And because of that,
at least for the world,
yeah, at least for this world. And because of that, finally getting to see Sora look like he's hit puberty was something. And seeing him in regular size shoes was also very interesting. And I will say that action, the sequence that they gave us, looked crispy. Like, there was little detail things in his movement during that little fight sequence that really actually stuck to me and made me want to check the game out. So I will say, even though I am pretty burnt out on Kingdom Hearts in terms of narrative and just the overall story, I'm gonna still come check it out, because that, from a next gen standpoint, it looks really, really impressive. And if there was anything that I did enjoy about Kingdom Hearts 3, it was the gameplay largely. So I'm willing to come back at least for that.
Before we move on, you brought up Sora's shoes. And I want to point out to everyone that the man has his shoe size has evened out over the games. So this idea that he has clown shoes is comical. Okay?
Slowly but surely have his...
The man has been wearing Tim's for the last 2 games. That's why they're so large.
This man had on the special Japanese variant of the Butters.
Yeah.
The Tokyo Stompers.
Yeah. Let's actually move into our first story.
Yes.
So this is from GameStop. No, wow. GameSpot. I can't believe I made... Oh, my cameras got fucked up. Wait for that to readjust.
Yep.
Is it going to readjust? Okay.
And there we go.
So, first things first. First story from GameSpot. This is from George Yang. Sony and Nintendo changed subscription service terms following investigation. So, I'm going to read a bit from this story. Both Sony and Nintendo have updated the subscription services to include auto renewal protection for users. The Completion and Markets Authority, the CMA, based in the UK, announced today that it finishes its investigation into both companies. The organization was concerned about PlayStation Plus and Nintendo Switch Online's auto-renewal mechanisms, where users may be stuck paying for services that they no longer want to use. Okay. This is one of those cool but okay stories. In that... There's nothing bad about this. There's actually a lot of good, but it's one of those things where, like, ultimately, it's not going to really change anything. I guess for the most part, for the like, it's. I say that because this is something I've never had to deal. Well, I have had to deal with, and I'm going to bring this story up in a second. But in terms of my PlayStation account, I've never had to deal with this because I've always paid yearly for my account.
Yeah.
And so, like, I always knew when the account was going to renew, because, hey, man, they're about to take a relatively large chunk of money from me at any given time. But that's me making a personal thing. In terms of this from going forward, I think all subscription services should have this. I think as more popular as they're getting, subscription services are inherently a predatory service. I'm using some. Right. I'm bringing some old fire from a former regular of the show, Cam. When I use the word predatory in terms of subscription services.
Right.
Especially subscription services that say, hey, either we're going to give you a low rate early on or give it to you for free, and then immediately start charging you.
Right.
Like that, I've had an issue with that. And so, and this is good going forward. I hope you see all subscription services take lead from this. So like your Amazon Primes, your Netflix's, your Hulu's, everyone.
Yeah, it should be a sweeping change. It should be across the board, not just within
You want to know why I'm
the gaming industry.
Yeah, because this is what happened to me last week that nearly fucked up my life. I got Xbox Game Pass for Halo. I got it, I want to say, end of December. I got it. I was able to get 4 months for free. I redeemed them to play Halo. The week Halo Infinite came out, I played about 8 to 10 hours, around 6 to 8 hours of the campaign. I always had the plan, and I stopped playing. My plan was to always go back and finish it, but I wasn't jiving with the game's, loop. I didn't like the open world, and so it made getting to the actual Halo parts of the game unappealing for me. And at that point, the game's story wasn't really grabbing me, especially because, this is me personally, I couldn't get over the fact that, like, the events, there's, like, an entire, like, that I made this analogy before, but it's like, what happened to the Halo franchise is what if Game of Thrones season 6 ended with, like, the wall coming down and the White Walkers pushing down south, and then the show cut to the last episode of season 7 with fucking John being sent to exile in North. Because that's how I felt with the Halo narrative that bothered me so hard.
I get that.
But yeah, I didn't finish the game. Conversely, what ended up happening is I haven't touched my Xbox Game Pass for 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
When I realized that was going to happen, I canceled my account.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew what I was going to do. I got it from Halo. Xbox doesn't have any other games that make me want to keep this going forward. I'm not into subscription services, especially video game subscription services in this current state. I wasn't really down for it in the long term. Cut the story short. About a week ago, I looked into my bank account, and after having a tough week because of car insurance, realized I was in negative money. I was like, how the fuck am I in negative money? And so it's because Xbox charged me $12 to $15 for Game Pass. And I'm like, wait, 1, I canceled this, and 2,
yeah,
I haven't touched this in 4 months. Why are you charging me for this?
Yeah.
And this is why I want all companies to have this. I have to do some fascinating looks into this and why Xbox isn't, like, lifted into this group, and why only Sony and Nintendo were made privy to this. But that's neither here or there. Let's jump to our next story. Actually, wait, are you still paying for your Game Pass?
Actually, when I got my Series S, it came with like 2 years of Game Pass.
Okay, wow.
So I haven't paid for my Game Pass once yet.
Okay, well, fuck me then, I guess. Fucking.
Admittedly, I got mine like late, and like when I got mine, I think it was like toward like Christmas or something. So maybe they were just running a better deal at that time, you know.
Once again, fuck me then, I guess. Dude, I was poor for like 3 weeks because of Game for a full week because of Game Pass. Like, I had zero money.
I'm so sorry, Matt Booty. Give this man his money back. God damn it.
He's not gonna give me his money. I've talked too much metaphorical shit about Game Pass for him to want to give me money.
And George's not going to vouch for you. He's not going to help you. Oh, man.
So we're staying on GameSpot. This is a story that's actually very fortuitous because it's me and Marcus here, aka the longest standing holdouts for the Overwatch franchise. This is from Jordan Ramey. Jordan Ramey from GameSpot. Overwatch 2 Sojourn moves the storyline forward, says Blizzard. So, over the weekend, we got in the 2-year drought of Overwatch content.
Yeah, like straight up.
If you like skins and you like deathmatch maps, you were fed. But if you liked
absolutely
new heroes, new maps, new game modes, new PvE content, new anything, we've been in the drought.
Mm-hmm.
You can blame Overwatch 2, and conversely, you can blame Activision Blizzard for all of their shenanigans behind the scenes and fucking up
Yeah.
that game. But
Mm-hmm.
we've been starving. That's resulted in me abandoning Overwatch for Apex, which it's kind of funny that I think Apex is released 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it has the exact same amount of characters now that Overwatch did.
Yeah, that's kind of insane.
So it's like, Overwatch had a head start, and they fucked up now. But when I was invited, keyword uninvited, Marcus brought me back to the fold, and I was like, oh man, I love this game. I wish it was faster, but I love this game. I can't wait to play Overwatch 2 and its PvE content and just play the PvE content. But the thing they've led with in Overwatch 2 is the Sojourn character, who is this female African Canadian,
Afro-Canadian, yeah,
cyborg character who's going to be sort of the focal point for the Overwatch 2 narrative going forth. They first gave us her story trailer, which sort of extrapolates on what we've always assumed about her character, in that she was like a high-level mission support character for Overwatch. And then I guess something happened and she became a cyborg, but she doesn't seem upset about anything that happened in Overwatch.
She seems fine. Like I was like, did her legs get blown off? The world may never know. I don't know.
Then they released her actual gameplay trailer, which is sort of extrapolates on things we've already known about her character.
Mm-hmm.
And we are still in the. I looked up the math. The day they released those trailers was the 2-year anniversary from when Echo was released.
Oh wow!
So
wow,
we're still in the new character drought because Sojourn is coming with Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
But Marcus, how do you feel about this content that we've been, how the food that we've been fed?
Honestly, like, it's because we were talking about this in the Discord, and like I didn't realize how long it had been since I'd seen a character reveal trailers for Overwatch. So like I remember watching this gameplay reveal and thinking that it was weird that they were going back and forth from first person to third person, but then remembering, oh no, that's something that they always do, but it's been that long that I completely forgot that was a thing. But overall, her as a character seems interesting, just because of like she's kind of been in the periphery for a while now. Like she's been in, the pictures of like old Overwatch and stuff like that. And it's just like, who's this person?
Yeah, like I think the picture that we're all thinking about is the one that's kind of no longer canon because the ages don't make sense, of the young Farah with like the Overwatch cast, and there's just this random black woman in the corner. I'm like, who is this? Oh, I guess that was Sojourn. Yep. Also, Mercy's there, but Mercy's only like 5 years older than Farah.
They retconned it. It's okay. But it's like, who is this? And so it's cool to see, that kind of carryover from old Overwatch that, isn't weighed down with the baggage of all of the other characters. So it's going to be interesting to see how she plays into things, and how, as the tagline says, how she brings the story forward. As in terms of her as a player character, I'm very curious to see, one, how she plays in just a general 5-man setup, but also how her slide mechanic fucks with the game, because that's an Apex thing. Like that is like,
between this character and Neon and Valorant, I'm just sitting there going like, I played 2.5 years of Apex Legends. I am fucking primed to use this character.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fully ready to have you just wreck and shop as a Sojourn because of that.
Running down mid.
Yeah, because that mechanic is so unique. She's not the first character to have a run mechanic. She's not the first character to even have that. I guess that I don't even know what they call it, but that little pulse grenade thing.
Yeah, the Aretha grab, or you
that pulls people together.
The Zarya gravity pull. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's not the first character to have either of those, but the slide mechanic, and then the fact that the slide mechanic can get canceled into like a double jump type thing, that's something that I think could be like, when people get really good with her, she's going to be a problem in the game, I think. And especially because her range seems to be mid to long range as well.
She's
So
the railgun. She's
yeah,
essentially what if you took Baptiste,
hmm
Soldier, and Widowmaker, and then just gave them
exactly.
the Eureka pull.
Yeah, so she's terrifying. Like, like when you think of everything she is able to do, she is terrifying. And so I'm very curious to see how she kind of, once people get really good with her, I'm very curious to see how the community reacts to her, because Overwatch has definitely in the past nerfed characters or rearranged certain things because of fan complaint. And even though it hasn't been anything that's been nerfed or switched around in terms of movement, I wouldn't put it past them to have her be the first one that they change that for, because I think people are going to exploit the hell out of her. But that being said, I'm all in for her so far. I think she's interesting, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting more and more Overwatch 2 content, since we're heading in that direction, and because they've completely abandoned Overwatch 1. So
So like my going deep dive, like, so Overwatch 2 is technically out there. Like because of the Overwatch League, the pro community has their hands on Overwatch 2 to play that game.
Okay.
And early reports are that she's broken. She's dumb, stupid. These are all people who play on mouse and keyboard. You gave them a high mobility character who's a better Soldier 76 and has a has a move that breaks the ankles in Valorant, which is Neon. Just, it's so funny that putting a slide in Valorant just ruins that game because it just ruins crossbow placement. It's insane. I think I like, in terms of it, I have, when I got back into Overwatch, I used to just run Soldier 76, and then I ran Diva because I thought Diva was cool and had other skins. But then I got more and more used to playing a support character.
Mhm.
And so I'm interested in a world where I'm not going to be playing Soldier. And I play Soldier 76 as a support character as well. I would just hope he's a hit scan weapon, so I stayed in the back line putting out stims and just getting that passive healing. So I'm interested in playing her. I'm going to drop her into my hero pool. It's going to be fun.
Okay.
That being said, I hate her design. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think the top half of her design, chef's kiss in terms of like cool Overwatch-esque character. Bottom half, I don't know what you were thinking when you decided, she's just going to wear like leotard pants and like she's going to have like full brown robot legs. Just full brown. Like, you can't even tell that she's a robot with the color of her legs, because it's the same exact color as her skin. Which I understand why they did it, and more power to you for the representation. But she just looks weird as hell, and she's not even wearing boots. She's like wearing like tiny little like running shoes, and like,
yeah, she looks kind of like she's like Winnie the Pooh in it. Like she's just,
yes!
if you don't look close, you're like, oh, she's running, she's naked.
She's fucking naked. And then like I like, I'm all for Overwatch, like, diversifying player body types. Like, we don't need 15 Widowmakers, and we need more of Zarya and Diva and even the Brigitte in the world. But I'm just saying, the proportions of her lower self are just weird as hell. And one of my favorite descriptions of early Sojourn footage was, whoever designed this character was horny as hell, because her ass is the size of fucking Orissa's entire body, and with nothing like breaking up the design for her lower back. That's all you see when that character's behind. When you're looking at this character from behind, it's like, who designed this character?
Look, there was developers in there. They had just watched some Megan Thee Stallion videos, and they was like, "Yep, that's it right there." That's
If you're gonna copy those proportions, copy those proportions. Don't just be like, all right, she's gonna have everyone else's normal body proportions, and then we're gonna put a transformer for a lower body. We're just gonna make it brown. I'm excited for Sojourn. I'm excited for her. Though I'm interested in what this means going forward, because with as much time as they've taken for Overwatch 2, if they just release this game with Soldier as the only brand new character, they have been fucking up.
No, yeah. Like that's another thing that I'm very curious about because Sojourn already like has this one possibly game-breaking mechanic with the slide. And so it makes you wonder one, what they'll end up just doing with other characters that they add over time, and then two, how they continue to rework the game because they already did the whole remove the two tanks thing, so it's 5v5. So that's already a huge thing. But then they've completely reworked Orissa's kit, which I have thoughts on, and none of them are good.
They didn't do the rework we wanted, which was let us ride Orissa.
I mean, I'm not gonna do it, but you know, like, so they've completely already reworked one aspect of one of their already mainstay characters. So I'm curious to see how they continue to rework and reconfigure the game, both with new characters and characters they've already had. Because Sojourn is already a big kind of hint into like the game almost operating completely different than Overwatch 1. So
I'm just saying we need more supports, and more tanks. Like, if your next couple characters were all DPS, we're gonna have fights. Because you can't. That's one of the reasons we got this weird fucking character bubble that we're no.
There's so many like if you, I didn't even realize how disproportionate the heroes thing was until like I just was looking at the character breakdown and I was like, there are so many DPS characters, like,
yeah.
And they need to rectify that in the second one. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right, everyone. DJ's not here, so it's left to me to do the subscriber push. So I'm gonna. Okay, I got this. I've been doing the quick hits for a while. I've been feeling more confident. So let me jump feet first into this. Hey, everyone. My name is Avery. Not going to tell you my last name because I value my privacy. But I'm a part of this podcast, and I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you should subscribe. Number 1, my mom calls me a nice young man. Number 2, in this internet economy, likes and subscribes equals dollars, and we need to pay Marcus. He's living in Hollywood. It's very expensive.
Do you know how much gas is out here? It's terrible.
Oh, it's bad, man. I just filled up my tank. It was $40. I can't even imagine what it is for you.
That's half a tank, bro.
Oh no. Number 3. DJ and Sean have children. Cam has a child as well. He might have more. I haven't seen that man in 3 years. You never know. They have to inherit this podcast, and we can't leave them with nothing. So give us subscribers so those kids can have a legacy. 4.
You're doing a great job, bro.
5. I think we're all doing a really good job of being a nice slice of representation in the community, and we really do us all good and make this all worth it in the long run. If you listen to this podcast and decided, you know what, they're all nice young men, let me just give them a little like, follow, and a share. Thank you for my mini TED talk.
You know that was fantastic. You should be very proud of yourself. That I like that subscriber push more than any of the ones DJ did. But
you hear that, Donald? You're the one holding his back as he records his podcast from remote. The man's a legend. Okay, our third story is from The Verge. This is from Andrew Webster. Epic announces $2 billion in funding for its metaverse efforts.
My God.
So Epic Games is trying to build a metaverse, which is the new hotness in the web. Is it Web 2.0 or Web 3.0? I don't know. The internet's wild world that we're living in. And in terms of all the people trying to do it, like Meta and various other internet companies, tech companies, they're the ones who already have a foot in the door. Because if you haven't looked at Fortnite right now, it's kind of one step away from being Ready Player One.
Yes, actually, Actually,
Like,
it basically is.
I'm pretty sure you could have gone to Coachella in Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
Like physically, you could have gone to a space where they would stream Coachella to you, and it's Fortnite's wild, man. That game is wild.
Yeah.
It's not the best BR in the world because that's Apex Legends,
Right.
but it's probably the best entertainment brand right now in terms
Yeah.
of like cachet.
Yeah.
So, ignoring the amount of money that they're raking in on Fortnite, ignoring the amount of money they're raking in on Unreal, Epic as a brand wants to really take a step forward. They had that Lego deal a while ago. And so to fund all that, they put in some fundraising. And this story is only notable for two reasons. One, the $2 billion price tag that they ended up raising. And two, one of the people who further invested in them was Sony Entertainment. Sony Entertainment.
Oh.
So I had to look this up. PlayStation, Sony as a corporation owns 5% of Epic Games.
Okay.
Uh, Sony Sony. Wow. I've lost my train of thought because I'm old. Yes, I believe Sony's words were that we are interested in their metaverse project and we want to further invest into them and strengthen our relationship together. That's great.
Okay.
In a world of corporate acquisitions and corporate consolidation, this is a very interesting move.
Yeah, to say the least.
I'm. They don't have a controlling interest in Epic, but they have a interest enough that I won't be surprised if more and more deals start happening with PlayStation. Like in particular, especially with PlayStation PC efforts, I'll be more and more surprised if when PlayStation games start showing up in PC, they start showing up in the Epic Games Store.
For sure.
Yeah, like as exclusives. And I'm curious to see how far this relationship with PlayStation is going to go in terms of Epic's relationship, because in a world where Microsoft is dropping $70 billion to acquire Activision,
yeah.
I think Epic is now the place where, like, if PlayStation were to drop the money to acquire them outright, we'd be in a very interesting place right now in terms of games. Because it wouldn't even matter that Epic is a smaller developer inherently than Activision.
Mm-hmm.
They have Fortnite, which makes a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
They have the Unreal Engine, which makes a ridiculous amount of money, and which a lot of Xbox games end up using anyway. So,
do you think that PlayStation has the money to just outright buy Epic though?
It's weird because in all this acquisition stuff, acquisition nonsense that we've gone through, I've done a lot of like fucking armchair quarterback math to see what fucking studios are worth and all that, and I believe Epic Games. I think I looked it up, and like Epic's like market capital was like, shit. I had it. Damn, it was like It wasn't super hot.
Really?
Like it wasn't super hot. And like conceivably, in a world where PlayStation hadn't spent all that money on Bungie, all that other stuff, and like had been just squirreling away, they probably could have made the deal. But that's me trying to understand. I don't understand corporate deals enough to understand whether that was like the play to make. Long story short, interesting that PlayStation is deepening this relationship. I really wonder where it's going to build dividends in terms of like strengthening the PlayStation. Like, I think this was Sony proper making it, but I want Sony proper would make this with the backing of PlayStation, like as a spear of like, hey, how can we make this deal to help the PlayStation ecosystem?
Yeah, because it is very interesting because it was Sony that pitched in rather than Sony PlayStation. And while yes, you would hope that cohesion would work for PlayStation, but because it is more so Sony pitching in for the metaverse aspect of it all, it very well could just be about the metaverse. So we'll see what happens there.
Is this PlayStation? Are we getting a PlayStation Home too?
I mean, At this point, though, like, could PlayStation Home do anything comparable to Fortnite? Like, like it almost wouldn't even make any sense for them to drop a home without being able to maybe have some sort of cross pollination with Fortnite, or because otherwise,
okay, fantasy world. This is just me making shit up. This is me
Mhm.
just throwing out predictions. This is my Gatorade get hype moment. Okay. Fortnite is rebranded as PlayStation Home 2.
That's exactly what I thought you were going to say that, and yeah, I mean, like it
free in every PlayStation 6,
Mm-hmm.
and then the application acts as the OS for your console. So if you want to play games, you gotta physically walk your avatar to the game, click it, and it gets opened up.
Okay.
And because the cell process, because of the SSD, there's no loading, so your character instantly just changes into what the character is in the game. You jump in at your save. There's no menus created or anything.
So what you're saying is you want the PlayStation 6 OS to be Wreck-It Ralph. That's
Hey man, we're already halfway there with the Astro's Playroom.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, stranger things have happened. Like stranger things have happened.
I know. They're on their 4th season. It's coming out in a couple of weeks.
You motherfucker.
Oh man, we're having too much fun. Anyway, here to drop the fun is our horror story. This is from Kotaku. This is from Sissy Jang. Report: California Governor Gavin Newsom accused of interfering in the Activision lawsuit. Here's the subtext for this subtitle for this article. A DFEH lawyer resigned in protest after the governor fired her boss and interfered with the case, Bloomberg reports. So the Activision Blizzard lawsuits is an ongoing thing. This is like complicated lawsuit that's probably going to be going on for a long time. At the same time, Activision is currently being bought by Microsoft. So it's also going on for the same time. So there's an interesting push and pull of what's going on with with that company. From what I could gather from the Bloomberg report and these articles is that like Gavin Newsom in his office have been really interested in what's been going on in this particular case, and it's being implied that they're interested because they're trying to feed information to the Activision Blizzard teams so they can better prepare against this content. Specifically in regards to maybe stock prices and the financials of all that, because it's a weird ass story.
Oh my gosh. Like, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be that surprised just because like California is, especially Los Angeles, is like the entertainment capital of kind of the world. So I guess if anybody's governor was going to get involved with this bullshit, it would be here. But God, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I mean, the gaming industry has, had dumpster fire stuff before 2020, but it's almost like ever since COVID, like, just, I don't know, like, so much about the gaming industry that's come to light within the last 2 years has just been bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think, it's not great.
Nah.
It's frankly, it's one of those things where like maybe I dodged a bullet when I like just stopped trying to go hard into making video games in like my early 20s. But then I think of myself now and I'm like, did I dodge a bullet or did I get a different bullet?
See, no, because you did dodge a bullet because now you found out that your true calling is one day becoming a premier announcer / commentator for Valorant tournaments. That's we've
first of all,
we've come to this conclusion.
That's high praise for me. I'm a real big fan of Bren and Sideshow and Bala and all of those guys. It'd be really nice to get flown to Berlin or Reykjavik and be in a Masters tournament with the greats. I mean, Sean Garris and DDK are no longer in the scene, so we need some young blood talent to get up there. And let's be honest, there are not a lot of black people in attack FPSs. We're not a lot of black people in FPSs in general. So it'd be really great to be able to stand there next to Bala, and maybe we can drag your boy Dre off the field and into the commentator stand, and we can just talk about Valorant. But that's neither here or there. But yeah, this is like I'm gonna be paying attention to this story in particular because this is one of those things where like I want to say re-election is coming up, 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, re-election should be coming up for like a lot of things. So in an election year, stories like this are not good.
Not at all. Not at all. This is
And it just depends on what type of Californians are hearing this. The ones who don't give a shit, and so this is just a non-interest story. The Californians who are super interested in finance and like, if Newsom is really going to do stuff, maybe we can work with him. But the Californians who are in the game industry and are offended by this.
Yeah, if this was, I mean, even though gaming is as popular as it's ever been on a mainstream level, if this was some like film industry tampering, I feel like Californians would probably care a little more. So I don't know if it'll like be a huge blow to him, but it's still definitely not a good blow.
Yeah. Okay, so our final story, and this is the dumbest story we're going to talk about, so it's a good palate cleanser from what we were previously talking about. This is from IGN. This is from Matt Kim. Shout out to Matt Kim. He's a stalwart reporter. I always love reading his stories. So go to IGN.com and give it a click, everyone. Go to every one of these articles we've talked about and give those people clicks. They deserve doing all this work. Because I constantly ignore the ads on their website because I have an ad blocker, and I feel bad every time I go there to do these stories because I have an ad blocker. But they're out there. The people, the spy and malware people, they're out there. They're trying to get my information.
I was a victim of some spyware when my original Instagram page got hacked, and now it's dead. So you're not wrong.
Damn shame. Okay, last story is Hideo Kojima says Kojima Productions will remain independent after tweeting PlayStation Studios banner. Okay, these were the stories that I wasn't even going to put on here because it's so fucking dumb. But it's me, it's Marcus. We've got all the time in the world. Let's fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, so the place just like Xbox, PlayStation has a banner that showcases all their major franchises to show us talk, especially in the PlayStation Studios era. They have this really cool banner. It's got fucking the dude. It's got the MLB The Show guys on it. It's got Ratchet. It's got Ellie. It's got Celine from Returnal. It's got all the PlayStation favorites.
Mm-hmm.
They recently took out Concrete Genie, which was made from one of their smaller studios. Which is a great game. Everyone should play it. I think it should be under $30 at this point.
It's got to be. Yeah.
It's got to be. It's a fantastic game. It's probably going to be on PlayStation. It's probably going to be on PlayStation Plus, and so everyone should play it when we're all grandfathered into that franchise. We should all just pick it up and play it. But no, back to the story. So they took out the Concrete Genie in it, and they replaced it with Norman Reedus and his funky fetus.
Yes.
From Death Stranding.
Mm-hmm. BB.
Internet sleuths saw this and like, oh man, remember 3 weeks ago when Greg Miller was saying there was a PlayStation acquisition and him and Jeff Groh were like, oh, it's going to be big? They brought Koji Pro. And them changing this is like them confirming. Because remember when they did it the last time and they accidentally told us they bought Housemarque and Bluepoint? It is just like that.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the story, and in my head, I'm like, no. They just changed the banner. I mean, I love Concrete Genie, but like if you're talking about the PlayStation Studios brand,
yeah, it's a non-starter.
If you're trying to sell a premium experience, I wouldn't put Concrete Genie on there. I would definitely put the Hideo Kojima back Death Stranding game on there.
Yep.
But hey man, people went with it, And it was trending for a while now, to the point where Jeff Grubb went on his podcast and was like, confirmed that, hey, this is not happening, and B, the PlayStation acquisition, if it is happening, is a much bigger thing than Kojima Productions. I'm like, okay, Jeff Grubb has said this stuff. Jeff Grubb he knows a lot about the industry. Cut to a couple hours later, like still trending. The fanboys and the bad PlayStation podcasts are all the bad PlayStation websites are all like feasting on this weird fan built rumor, and then Kojima fucking pours oil on the fire and retweets the image, the PlayStation image, and people go fucking nuts.
Kojima's such a troll.
And so
my god!
So then he had to clarify once in Japanese and then once in English. Hey man, my studio is always going to remain independent. I value my independence. We have not been bought by PlayStation, and now we're here.
Yeah, and I mean, like, honestly, it's just indicative of how, like, you know, gullible and how easy it is to play people on the internet. Kojima knows that better than anyone. But also, just like, it's kind of funny that people would even though Kojima has a good working relationship with PlayStation, it's after everything that happened with Konami, I would absolutely assume that he would want to stay independent as long as he possibly could. Like
yeah, he don't like if the one good thing that comes with corporate acquisition in video games is a safety net in terms of, hey, if you're a good studio making good games, having a corporate backer is like and continue to make good games is a ceiling over is a roof over your head in terms of like the business. Kojima doesn't need that. He's next to Shigeru Miyamoto. He's probably the biggest name in video games. Like everyone is clamoring to work with him as long as he can still, even if he makes bad ideas. I think people are still willing to fund it based on his name alone, the cachet. It's the reason why the Xbox, after the PlayStation deal ended, immediately went to him and like, hey man, we want to work with you on your next game. They haven't confirmed of anything that's happening, but they wrote a letter of like intention to work with each other. That's one of the things Jeff Grubb confirmed in his podcast, that as far as he's concerned, all that information is still out there. Like that deal is still working. So quote unquote, unless Koji Pro is acquired, his next game will be an Xbox game. Will it be an Xbox exclusive? I'm not sure. Because it's really interesting. Like I've always found that weird written thing of like, we're gonna work on your next game, like a weird thing. Why don't you just?
What does that even mean?
Yeah, why don't you just fund the game outright and move everything forward from there?
Yeah, I'd honestly be surprised if his next game is an Xbox exclusive, just because of, as I said, he has such a good working relationship with PlayStation. But yeah, like just all of this being so blown out of proportion is, like you said, it's dumb, but I mean it's funny at the very least.
It's funny. The video game Twitter had a good laugh.
Exactly.
Everyone had a good laugh. But yeah, that was our final story.
All right.
It was 5 stories that I managed to stretch to 45 minutes. Let's go.
Because we were having a good time talking. This has been another episode of Press X to Start podcast. We hope that you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. Don't forget to rate and review us on your favorite podcasting apps, because every little bit helps. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. And if you miss any of the details, you can find this and more on our website at pressx2start.com. And until next time, stay safe and have a good night or good day, wherever time zone you're at, and be easy. Peace.
Wait.